When you think about LLC business loans or credit from Citi, you really have some kind of a very mixed picture. Like it's not really complicated, yet it's not really easy. So you need to have some kind of a strict formula for success when it comes to application, when it comes to applying for the business line of credit for your LLC. And this is what I want to share with you in today's conversation. So here is the approach I really want you to follow. You need to understand that when we talk about an LLC business line of credit from Citi, things can be a little complicated. Why? Because Citi has financial requirements. They have some wait times, and in some cases they will ask you for collateral and personal guarantees. Okay, and personal guarantees plural, because if we have, this is for all the owners of the LLC, people who have, I would say, voting power or equity power. For financial requirements, sometimes Citi will ask you like to have a FICO score of 600 to 650. And they used to ask, back in the days, they used to ask small business owners who have $10 million in revenue every year to qualify for a business line of credit. But since 2008, when the crisis erupted, Citi they realized they lost a lot of business, like crazy, a lot of business. So now they lowered their bar down, so to speak. So if you make like $5,000, $500,000 to $1 million, you could qualify for a small business line of credit for your LLC at Citi. Even better, if you have a strong relationship with the bank, you might actually bypass that financial requirements. So if you've been with Citi for, let's say, 5 years or 10 years, what they will do is that you can actually you can negotiate to have with them, like you can be approved for a relatively small business line of credit. Here I'm talking about 5 digits or 4 digits. You're not getting like 100,000, 100 grand, or a quarter of a mil. No, but you're getting something to help you, But the wait times is crazy. You can actually wait for 1 or 2 weeks before, after approval, and it could take like 3 or 5 more days for Citi to actually release the funds. And if you ask them to send the money to another bank, that's even worse. They will take forever. So it's just a lot better to ask them to transfer the money into a Citibank business account. And for collateral and personal guarantee, I'll speak about that later on in the show. Now, before we actually go further, let me give you our pick here. Why do we think Citi is kind of great for your LLC business line of credit? Here are the pros and cons. Well, with Citi, financing is suited for small to large businesses. If you are a single member LLC, you're not going to qualify. But if you have a good relationship with Citi, this is kind of cool. They will actually help you out. They'll work with you. Rates tend to be very cheap. I mean, Citi is a large national bank, so that you have the money, and long-term financing options are available, and there are a few additional fees. Okay, so I really want to mention that because it is important. What about the cons? Well, borrower qualifications might be hard to meet in most cases. Website advertising is not really clear, not really transparent, not really informative. And Citi, for the last few years, has had poor public reputation. One thing I want to say about Citi's public reputation is that they've been working on it. It's kind of crazy with the new CEO and all that kind of stuff. They have transformed the whole customer service process, sort of refocusing on their core segments, and businesses constitute part of Citi's core segment. And in addition to that, the LLC that Citi has is a good LLC, not LLC. The business line of credit that Citi has for your LLC is a good business line of credit, not only in terms of the amount you might get, but also the conditions that come with that amount. So this is really cool. Okay. And one thing I want to say here is that just remember that your LLC has to actually produce some kind of a financial information. And depending on the amount that your LLC needs, Citi might decide to go granular, to ask for more information, to dig deeper. So they might ask you to provide a full set of accounting statements for your LLC. So they want to have your LLC bank account, your LLC business cash flow statements, your LLC business balance sheet, your LLC cash statements, and your LLC statement of owner's equity. Let me talk to you about the approach you need to really have in mind if you are interested in Citi's LLC business line of credit. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about LLC's LLC lines of credit from Citi. How do you get that? Okay, I want to tell you everything about these things. What you need to understand here is that when we speak about Citibank, we are speaking about a financial colossus. They are available nationally. They are present nationally, right? So they are in the same category as Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America. They're part of the big quartet. Those systemically important, like too big to fail sort of banks. Okay, and one thing I want to say here is that they do provide Citi. I'm talking about Citi now. They provide several lending products to LLCs, including term loans and lines of credit. So although loans from Citi are considered among the most competitive in the business, they are difficult to qualify for. Okay, and so one thing I need to say here is that this is actually compounded by the bank's opaque terms, which make it very difficult for LLCs of all sizes to know if they will qualify in the first place. This just means that you have to go to a Citibank branch to sit down with the loan rep, so the loan rep can explain to you what it's all about. Okay, what Citi is all about when it comes to their LLCs, to their LLCs loans, LLCs, the business loans, business line of credit. So, in case you want to know, Citi, besides LLC business lines of credit, they also provide business installment loans for your LLC. They do LLC commercial mortgages, and they do LLC healthcare acquisition financing arrangements. Okay, I mean not a very diverse sort of offering here, but hey, it is what it is. And as long as you love Citi, if you love Citi, you think you might qualify for this, that's just fantastic. Okay, but if you don't have like a strong financial, a strong financial situation for your LLC, you might still get something, but it will not be like something stellar anyway. Let me talk to you about borrower qualifications, because a lot of LLC owners are confused about the requirements that Citi has in terms of their business line of credit. First of all, let me just say that the information we have is not available on Citi's website, but this is the information that we have collected ourselves, having dealt with Citi for the last 20 years. Since 2000, we've been dealing with Citi on behalf of our business clients, and most of our business clients are LLCs. So from all states, not just there's no particular concentration in one state versus the other. And Citi actually wants you to have at least 2 years in business. In terms of credit score for the owner, for the main founder, okay, probably around 600 minimum, and for the business itself, like be around 75 to 80. That's the minimum here. And for revenue, they will work with you if you're making $250,000 all the way to $1 million. Okay, and again, this is something that we have actually gathered ourselves. This is the intel we have gathered ourselves in the last, let's say, 20 years. And one thing you need to understand here is that Citi may actually impose geographic restrictions on some of its business lending programs, and you will also need to have a Citibank business checking accounts, and so actually qualify. Okay, so going back to the geo restrictions that I just spoke about, it really depends on like the amount that Citibank is giving you. It depends on your state's laws when it comes to banking. That's number one. It also depends on the general state of the economy. Are we in a booming economy? Are we in a bust? Are we in a boom or a bust? Those are really important elements to think about, to keep in mind. And I also want to say that the Citibank is constantly changing its offer, is constantly adding new stuff to it. And what we love here is that even if you don't meet the time in business, the credit score, and the revenue conditions, you can still be qualified for an LLC business line of credit from Citi. But to do this, you have to go to a branch. And this is where all the magic happens, so to speak. Let me now talk to you a little bit. I want to give you a few pro tips. Okay. By the way, I want to speak more specifically. I want to give you tips about Citibank loan terms and fees. Of course, we're speaking about business lines of credit from Citi to your LLC. This is the topic. Okay, I just want to remind you of that. But the thing is that generally speaking, you have four main categories of business lending programs going on simultaneously at Citi. And it's really important to mention this because if you apply for a business line of credit and things don't work out, remember that you could still apply for other business lending programs at Citi. The line of credit is not the only one. Okay, the borrowing amount here, you have 10,000 to $250,000. That's for the line of credit. And terms are revolving. Of course, this is a revolving line of credit, and the interest is variable. And Citi has they have different policies based on your state and based on the state of the economy when it comes to draw period versus repayment period or anything in between. It really depends on how they feel like it. But you can bet that they are constantly they monitor constantly things like business line of credit, business lines of credit, business loans, and whatnot. And Citibank also has a larger line of credit for businesses that need, let's say, $250,000 all the way to $5 million. Okay, and so this is totally possible. So, and beside business lines of credit, you also have business term loans from Citi. So the borrowing amount here, $5,000 to $5 million. The term length up to 7 years, and the interest rates, you have fixed interest rates. Okay. You also have a program called healthcare acquisition financing, whereby if you are in the healthcare sector, you can actually borrow anywhere from $250,000 to $5 million, and the term length here up to 10 years, and the interest rate is fixed. You also have commercial mortgages. So here the borrowing amount again is similar. You have $250,000 to $5 million, and the term length 5 to 20 years with amortization up to 25 years. And you have also interest rate fixed or variable. So this is really important to have this idea in mind so that you are on the same page when it comes to gauging your odds of approval when you go with a Citi business line of credit. Let me kind of review real quick several aspects of the business line of credit application. And by the way, this is kind of similar. Citi use the same business loan application process for its business line of credit application process. Okay, so there's no separation right now. And when we talk about the Citibank's line of credit application process, our rating for this process is it's really fair. It's nothing complicated. You know, it's just a lot better. Again, it's a lot better to go to a branch. Talk to a rep at a branch. Okay, there are not many resources online to prepare you for Citibank's specific process. So you want to expect to have to provide information about your business, your bank accounts, and your resources. And if you have business partners, you'll likely need their information too. Okay, very important. In terms of the sales and advertising transparency, Citi still has a lot of work to do in that department in terms of being transparent. Customer service is relatively good. I mean, it could be doing better. And in terms of the Citibank's user reviews, we have seen on Trustpilot, on BBB, we've seen it on other platforms, people actually talking about a variety of problems relating to Citi. Okay, and so people have talked about account problems, fees, scandal prone. Like the bank is scandal prone. Okay, people have spoken about range of products. So this is really you have a good mix. You have a bad mix for Citi, which is totally like a need, totally earned, so to speak, quote unquote earned. Then you have positive reviews and testimonials. So you have good rates. People are saying good rates, large physical presence, so they're really available anywhere. And you have a range of product that make the whole thing easier if you want to have a specific product. One thing I also need to say here is that remember that the the LLC business lines of credit that, like, even if you find somebody making a statement like above, like, let's say people talk about, yeah, this bank is bad, this bank is not really bad. Don't worry about it. Just follow your path, okay? Follow your path and you'll be fine. So here is the winner for you. So the final verdict: are Citibank lines of credit for your LLC great or nay? Well, the thing is, to answer this question, our answer is yes, it's great for your business. Now, let's nuance the answer. Let's qualify the answer. Citibank's size and wealth mean it can, at least in theory, offer LLC businesses excellent rates on loans, right? But qualifying for those rates can be challenging, particularly if you don't have a city branch near you, because everything happens at a branch. And compared to its competitors, even with higher big banks, Citibank is an opaque lender, okay, disclosing very little about its business leading products, okay, and combined with lingering issues of customer issues that actually date back to let's say 2008. The bank does not present the most friendly face to prospective customers. But hey, listen, if you're looking for, if you still love Citi despite all the problems that the company has faced in the last few years, maybe Citi will be great for you. Otherwise, there are a lot of alternatives, okay? So when we speak about Citibank business line of credits for your LLC, you have alternatives that go from Blue Vine, for example. You have On Deck, you have American Express, their Blueprint business line of credit. You do have Lendio, you have NBC, National Business Capital. So I'm just listening here on top of my mind here. I'm just explaining to you what a business line of credit is, and if you don't happen to get one through Citi, hey, you can actually go forward and get something else. One thing I need to say here is that before you actually choose another lender, make sure that you use something called a loan calculation tool. Like you want to plug in the numbers, you want to see what really works, and you want to see whether or not it's worth it for you to hire someone to help you do the job at all. Because it's just one of those things where you want to pay attention to people who listen, people who are actually like if your Citibank loan rep or your Citibank line of credit rep is not really, you don't feel like he or she is listening to you, then it's really not worth it, because you'll be wasting your time a lot, and you basically will be thinking, wow, I'm just like a bait or whatever. So this is why you have to be really careful and make sure that you choose the right Citibank line of credit, and make sure that you have the proper size. Your business has the proper size to qualify for a business line of credit through Citi. Thank you. I appreciate having you with us today during the conversation. And let me quickly recap all the points I covered here. So we spoke about financial requirements, wait times, and collateral. I gave you the pick, the approach, pro tips, review, and now the winner. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.